Sonic the Hedgehog 2 isn't just an example of how a sequel should improve on the original movie in terms of expanding the lore, deepening the relationship with the characters, and raising the stakes in the world around them. It also might honestly be one of the best video game adaptations ever. It incorporates so much from the franchise and from the games without overwhelming and bogging down the action. And the result is really a successful sequel that improves on almost every part of the original, which in itself was a surprise hit. I think if you had told me that we'd be two very successful, very well received movies into a franchise after they first premiered that trailer, before they went in and like redid all of his CGI and his animation, I would have been shocked because it was rough with that first Sonic design. But eventually, I kind of started to think that they had done it on purpose, and it was all just a ploy to like get better PR and be like, "Look, we listened. Look how good it looks now." Like, it almost felt like it had to be a joke, but doesn't matter. We are way past that now. 2020 was the first film. 2022, Sonic 2 is already off to an amazing start at the box office. It absolutely destroyed Michael Bay's movie Ambulance this weekend. Proof that video game movies and kids movies will always be undefeated, basically. And let's get into it. Sonic 2 picks up kind of right after 1. Sonic is settling in Green Hills. He's got his family, Tom and Maddie, who have kind of adopted him as their son, and he's trying to use his powers for good. He wants to help keep the city safe. He gets involved in things like car chases and robberies, and he ends up causing a lot of property damage. Like, does a lot more bad than good. So Tom has to have a talk with him. Says, "Hey, look, the sign of a hero isn't running around looking for trouble. It's being able to answer the call when trouble comes." Very wise words from a small town sheriff. Um, so when Tom and Maddie leave to go to Maddie's sister Rachel's wedding in Hawaii, Sonic is left on his own with the dog, and from there, kind of just everything goes sideways. The evil Dr. Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey, returns from the Mushroom Planet with the help of the last Akinda warrior, Knuckles, who's just basically like a red Sonic, but his hands are huge and he beats the hell out of things. If you've played the games, or if any of this is familiar to you, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's kind of really all there is to know. The two, Robotnik and Knuckles, have teamed up to look for the Green Emerald, which is the main emerald comprised of the eight, I want to say 7 or 8 Chaos Emeralds, and whoever holds the Green Emerald will have unlimited power. Dr. Robotnik, of course, wants it for evil purposes. Knuckles wants it for his birthright, essentially. His tribe were the guardians of it. And Sonic is in a race with them to stop it all together and to protect it. And joining Sonic this time is Tails, the two-tailed fox. Probably one of like the most beloved characters from video games as far as like overall approval rating. And a big coup for the movie here is that Tails is voiced by the original voice actress, Colleen O'Shaughnessey. She is the only voice actress that reprises her role in the franchise so far. And to me, that's a huge, huge win. And I think that's a boost of confidence both in her, and it's an understanding of how important getting this character right is. They do take some liberties still with like the character's motivations, but overall it's a really similar performance, and I think that was definitely the right way to go. I think as far as the other voice acting, Ben Schwartz is still a terrific Sonic. I think he captures the right balance of naivety and earnestness without ever like veering into like annoying and like grating. And then as well as for voice acting, Idris Elba as Knuckles is an incredible stroke of genius by whoever's decision that was. Oh, unbelievable. Apparently there is a Knuckles spin-off already in the works for Paramount Plus. Cannot get that fast enough. Idris Elba is like the perfect blend of like menacing when he needs to be, absolutely deadpan comedic genius when he needs to be, And the scenes with him and Sonic and Tails bantering all together are just some of the absolute best. Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, a role he seemingly was born to play. These movies and kids movies in general are just such a perfect pair for him, given like his expressions, his complete commitment, his absurdity. And you know, there's rumors going around that this is actually his last movie and that he'll be retiring simply just because he's got enough. He says he's got enough and he's good. He doesn't want to work just to work. He doesn't need the money. And if that is the case, then this is an unbelievable swan song to go out on. But if it's not, I hope that he makes the exception to just come back and keep doing these as long as he wants, because he is unbelievable. It's just like pure, unfiltered, let him loose and just see what happened. Like, I cannot even imagine the outtakes here. And then as for the rest of the live action characters, James Marsden is Tom, Tika Sumpter is his wife Maddie, and they're fine. But like, a lot of the time the live action stuff kind of is where the story just bogs down. The movie is 2 hours long, like 2 hours and 2 minutes, I think, like exactly. It did, I will say, we were in a theater with a lot of kids, and it seemingly held everyone's attention. There was one point in the mid-credit scene of the movie, which I will not spoil. The scene happened, and I heard one kid a couple rows ahead of me just go, "Oh shit." And I kind of knew at that point that this was probably going to be $1 billion franchise. I was like, oh, this is not stopping anytime soon. But it held everyone's attention. It was a little long, and it feels like the human side of things is where they could have really like trimmed some stuff. But I mean, that's kind of just nitpicking. They needed something, I guess, to balance it all out, and the performances are good. In particular, Natasha Rothwell as Maddie's sister Rachel is just unbelievable. She's probably the best and biggest laughs outside of Jim Carrey when it comes to the live action portion. But really, the star of the show is of course Sonic and Tails and Knuckles, and the main journey to find the emeralds. The action is great. It's really well staged and well directed, considering how much of it is CGI. And that was another thing that I really wanted to touch on really quick, is how good this CGI looks for everything. Considering most of this movie is taking place like outside in the daytime in bright locations and cities, it looks great. The animation is seamless. The character design is seamless. Everything just moves so beautifully. This movie is just as big a hit as the first one. There's a third one in the works. There's a spin-off in the works. Like, this franchise is not gonna slow down anytime soon. And I think that that's probably the only time that bullying people on the internet has ever had a positive outcome. I think this is a crazy testament to listening to fans and to sticking with the true essence of the characters. And that's something that this franchise does very well, and this movie does very well. Like I said earlier, I think it's probably one of the best actual video game adaptations that there's ever been, simply because it knows the beats from the games that it needs to incorporate into the movie. And you get a lot of the lore from the games, a lot of the backstory from the games, but like I said, it never feels like jarring or like it doesn't fit with everything else. It's really well done, and it's really entertaining, and I can't really say much more than that. I really liked this movie. I'm really excited to see where they go next with the story. I'm really hoping that Jim Carrey decides he wants to come back and give it another go. And I mean, whether he does or not, I mean, I think it's gonna just continue to get bigger and bigger, and the sky's the limit. But that's just those are my thoughts. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. If you liked it, what worked, what didn't. If you thought it was too long, anything like that. Please, yeah, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe if you liked the video, want to see more. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching.